Welcome back, Mr. Vincent Wani joins us now. He's the Director of Research and Advocacy with the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you for having me this morning.
Well, speaking with the CBN, they talked about some of those interventionist policies and programs that they seem to be introducing into the system. He talked about several of them, but do you see them having the desired impact on the economy?
Yeah, these are great and impressive efforts they've been making. But you know, at this point, there is always difference between efforts and outcome. Unfortunately, the outcome is not on the table, and that is why the economy, the business environment have found itself the point we are at this time. You know, and the starting point is just to commend them for all of those efforts. Listening to him, very impressive. But being an active player in the private sector and also coordinating a very large segment of the Nigerian private sector, I find out that these policies are not on the ground.
Let's narrow in.
We talk about a lot of things. Airlines. We have 2 airlines grounded over the last 1 week. So the outcome, the final result is not reflecting.
Because he says that they've got that intervention fund at single digits.
Exactly, refinancing, and we have 2 airlines. How many airlines we have in Nigeria just in 1 week? So something is wrong with the operation and the implementation of all of these intervention policies of the CBN.
Talk about accessing funds, the private sector. He also talked about how some of those funds actually do exist. But I know that in spite of all of this, the banks usually declare huge profits, whether we're in recession or not. But he says, look, they're trying to work out the solution to all of this. But what kind of complaints do you get when you approach the private sector?
Banks are private organizations, and they're there to make profit and maybe serve the people. So, yeah, as far as serving the real sector is concerned, even the banks themselves have always owned it up. The CBN SA to the governor himself also owned it up, that the banks are not actually serving the real sector. I want to quote him directly, say that they cherry pick the blue chip part of the economy, and that was the oil sector until their hands started getting burnt. You know, since last year. So the private sector are not filling the banks at all. And again, the CBN, it will be difficult to absorb CBN completely. I listened to the essay to the governor, and it was almost putting the bank in the middle of the crisis. You know, over the last, we always come to channels here to talk about the CBN management of interest rate. It's a challenge. Over time, for the past 6 to 10 years, the private sector have been practically shut out of the banking hall because of the high interest rate, ranging between 24 to 30%, depending on the tenure, the type of business, and the collateral you are dropping on the table, and even access to that credit. Even sometimes when you want to pay that high interest rate, all of the conditions and the conditionalities attached to a particular loan, including the intervention funds from CBN, makes it almost impractical to finally access that fund. Most times when you finally access it, the opportunity you are seeking or chasing is already behind you. So this is a crisis. And if we are talking about the economy in recession, of course, the last response of the central bank pushing the benchmark interest rate from 12 to 14% is also not a great reflection of somebody tracking the developments in the economy.
You know, we're talking about realities now. I'm happy you just reminded us of what happened to some airlines in the last 1 week, almost going out of business. And you put that side by side with that supervision role of the CBN, which I also asked him, can't they compel banks to do what we should be doing now that we are in a recession? That's what a lot of people would want to ask. Perhaps maybe we'll get your answers when we return after now.